Hey guys, it's AutumnClockWork, and I'm going to be showing you my drawing process today of my Day 3 Inktober drawing. Right here you can see I'm using the Higgins India ink in black, and I'm using just a regular flat brush, watercolor brush kind of thing. I got this back when I was a freshman in high school, so this brush is about almost 7 years old now. I gotta just replace it because the bristles are, coming out of place and some of them are falling out. But it's what I have in hand right now, but I plan on buying some more soon. And for the base sketch, I used the Prismacolor turquoise lead holder in the color crimson. So I use the crimson red lead to do my sketch. It works out better this way whenever you're using watercolor ink, because when you use a regular graphite pen, it muddies up the drawing, as I found, and it muddies up the colors you use. It's not so much a big deal when you're just using ink and all of the colors you're going to be using are the grayscale anyways, but I find that the red Prismacolor pen just works better anyways for most things. I'm also using a new sketchbook. It's a brand new sketchbook. I've done my first 2 Inktober drawings in here. This is Day 3. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it because it is German, but I think it's a Lectrum 1917. I'll leave a link in the description box below. But the paper is super smooth, super bright white. It's beautiful. And I got it in a turquoise kind of color. It's super pretty. I got the medium one, so it's a little bit on the smaller side of a sketchbook, but I like smaller sketchbooks as opposed to big giant ones, just because I tend to draw smaller. But so far I'm liking it. The only thing I've noticed is it doesn't handle water very well. It kind of starts to warp the page, which I expect for most things, but it does start to lift the pieces of paper on it. It makes the paper crumbly from the water, so it's definitely not something that's meant to hold watercolors or water in general. It holds up ink by itself pretty well, but when you want to water down the ink to make it a lighter black, it does not handle it very well. I actually ended up ruining one of my other drawings because I didn't realize how badly it was going to interact, water was going to interact with the page. But now I know. I only have black India ink right now, and so I can't do a whole lot of different gray scales and gray tones with it because of the way the paper doesn't handle water very well. So I wasn't able to do the gray skin tone as well as I wanted it to. I wanted her hair to be darker and I wanted her skin tone to be darker, but if I kept adding on the ink on top of the water and the water on top of the ink, it was just gonna ruin the paper completely and it was just gonna be a total disaster. So this is what I have right now. I'm gonna see about maybe going to find a gray ink on its own, so that way I don't have to water it down, and then that will hopefully save the paper some terrible grief. At this part, I am inking with a brush pen, and I'm not entirely sure what brand I got. I got it off of Amazon. It is Japanese, so all around the room it's in Japanese, so I have no idea what brand it is exactly I got, but I did get it off of Amazon. It is it's a fine black tip brush pen, and I just recently got it. Actually, one of the reasons I got it was for Inktober, and I wanted to practice with it, and I do like how dark the lines are. I love the black and the ink, and the very first time I decided to use this pen, it ended up, I didn't realize that it took a while for it to dry if you use a lot of ink. I'm used to using my Micron pens, and those dry instantly because it's that, but this is like an actual brush ink pen, and so sometimes if you do the darker lines with lots and lots of ink, then it doesn't dry down as quick. And the very first time I used it on a piece that I was doing of Diva, and I placed my hand down and I was working on her hair, and when I lifted my hand up, her entire eye I had done just smudged completely over, and her face was ruined. There was no way to fix it because it was just this big giant black smudge. She looked terrifying. She looked like a demon. That was my first experience with a brush pen, and I was pretty upset that I ruined the drawing and I hadn't checked to see if the ink had dried, just because it's not a medium I'm normally using. I don't usually use brush pens or anything, so throughout this drawing you'll be able to see that I touch it after a couple minutes of waiting to see if it dried down, so that way I don't make that same mistake again and completely ruin it, because I was actually really enjoying this drawing, and this is the best Inktober drawing so far. Even though it's only 3 days in, I enjoy this one the most. I think it turned out the best. I did use a Copic marker for her bow. I'll leave the link to that down below. I'll make sure to leave a link to all of my utensils used and everything used in this video down in the description box. But for this Inktober, I am going to just be focusing on drawing witches because I really enjoy drawing them, and I've been waiting until October to be able to just draw as many witches as I want, because I've been wanting to draw them literally all year. I am going to be trying to do all 31 days. We'll see how that goes, because last year I tried doing it and I stopped at day 4. So let's see if I can at least get past day 4. I am doing school and a job right now though, so I don't know how well this is gonna go and how much time I'll have, because I also do have commissions I need to work on as well. But so far it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun experimenting with ink. I think I will try to use some micron pens next time as well. I still am disappointed that her skin tone and hair color is not as dark as I wanted it to be, just because the way the ink and water was interacting with the paper was just, it's so unfortunate, and I didn't know what else to use. Here I'm going to be going in with my calligraphy pen, and it's by Tachikawa. Got it off of Amazon. I like to use this for my finer details, and it also makes the ink a little bit more gray instead of black, just the way it runs down on the paper with the calligraphy pen. I use this for the little tiny details like the freckles. You can't see it in the frame, but I was working on a little tattoo. And at the very end, after I cut off the video, I ended up adding a little bit more details, which you'll be able to see if you go check out my drawing on my Instagram, which will be linked down below. You will also be able to see all of my other Inktober drawings on Instagram as well. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic Inktober. Bye!